When I got my start in the gaming industry, one of the first consoles I worked on was the OG Xbox from Microsoft. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Glad you stopping by if you were a new viewer. And if you're an old viewer, welcome back, baby. It's nothing but love. Today we are talking about the OG Xbox, and we are looking at the games I keep going back to on the original classic. Probably some stuff in here you've played before, maybe some stuff you haven't heard of, but let's take a look now at the games I keep going back to on the Xbox.
All right, so first and foremost, I do want to point out that not all my footage was captured on the OG Xbox. Some was grabbed on my Xbox One, my Series X, or my 360 if they were backwards compatible, which is why some games like Indiana Jones here look so much better than other games on the same generation. This one, in particular, Indiana Jones: The Emperor's Tomb, was captured on my Series X, and this game's just incredible. It fills me with so much hope for what we're going to see in the Indiana Jones game that Bethesda is working on, because it's just such a great interpretation of the character and continuing his amazing story arc. Now, I've talked about Indy on the channel in the past, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one, but when I got my Xbox back, this is one of the first games I wanted to pick up because I do love it so much, and it's a legit fun game. If you've never played it, you really owe it to yourself to do so. I love the Toe Jam and Earl series. It's one of my favorites of all time. I've loved every game in the franchise, even this one, which is kind of the redheaded stepchild. Apologies to gingers everywhere, but it is kind of the forgotten game in the series. A lot of people know the original, a lot of people know Panic on Funkatron, and a lot of people know the newest game, Back in the Groove. But Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission to Earth, is a pretty faithful reinterpretation of the original. It's not 100% accurate to the original game on the Genesis, but it does have a lot of those same tropes. It's a very interesting take, and you can see what they were going for. And it's just one of those things where I look at it, and to me, it's the possibility of what if could have happened if this released on the Dreamcast, because it feels like a Dreamcast game, right? Like, it's got smaller levels than what you'd normally expect in a Toe Jam and Earl game, and each level has missions that you need to complete on it, and honestly, it's just a lot of fun. The soundtrack is awesome. This is a great game. Toe Jam and Earl 3, one of my all-time favorite series, and I had to have this one in the collection when I got my Xbox back. When I initially considered collecting again for the original Xbox, the first game I picked up, and I got this like 2 years before I had an Xbox that could play anything, was Crimson Skies. Now, Crimson Skies is one of those games that is forwards compatible on the Xbox Series X, or I guess backwards compatible. You know what I mean. It can be played on the Series X, and it's so worth your time if you do so. First off, this game is dirt cheap. It's like a $6 game, and it's just incredible. I don't get into dogfight games. I don't particularly like flying games. But the gameplay, the soundtrack, the design aesthetic, everything this game does makes me love it. It's brilliant. It's no secret here on the channel how much of a fan I am of Mega Man, and when this initially released on the Xbox, I was blown away. I never thought I would have seen a Mega Man collection on a Microsoft console, but here it was, and I was so ecstatic to have it. I had it on the Xbox and the GameCube, if that tells you how excited I was to have this one. This is an amazing collection. Now, does it have its flaws? Absolutely. There's definitely some things that it does that it's just like, it looks kind of crappy, it's a little stretched out, it's not exactly what we were going for with the initial design, but at the time, being able to get Mega Man's 1 through 8, as well as Mega Man the Power Battle and Mega Man 2 the Power Fighters on one disc, just absolutely blew my mind. Straight up not a Halo fan at all. The only one that I have ever played that I even remotely kind of wanted to go back to was Halo 2, and this was something that I played regularly at EA with a lot of my friends. We'd get together and just have a fun LAN party playing this multiplayer game. It was awesome. It's not something I go back to regularly. It's not something that I look at and I go, this is a game changer of a game, because I think the single player is kind of boring, if I'm being honest with you, but I really, really enjoyed this multiplayer, and it's something that when I look at it and it's something that I think about, it's a game that reminds me of times past and being around old friends that I haven't seen in a long time. It's a really, really solid memory of playing this multiplayer with old friends. I've told the story in the past on the channel about how the reason I bought an Xbox originally was because of Knights of the Old Republic. And I love Knights of the Old Republic. I love classic BioWare designed games, and that is why Knights of the Old Republic is not on this list, because as much as I love it, and as much as I love its sequel, Jade Empire does everything those games did, but better. The storyline is better, the design of the game is better, the combat is magnificent, the voice acting works, the graphics are better. It's It's a legitimately transcendent game, and I am honestly shocked we have never seen a sequel to it. I'm sure that this is tied up somewhere in IP ownership hell between BioWare and Microsoft Game Studios, but to me, this is such a rich world and such an opportunity to just expand upon that original game that it deserved to have sequels. And it just doesn't have it, unfortunately. It's a classic BioWare experience. You have choices between good and evil. You're able to romance different characters. There's tons of equipment, styles, abilities. It's a perfect game. Legitimately one of my favorites on any platform. Jade Empire rules. It's so good. This is probably the most recent addition to my Xbox collection, and it's something that I hunted down and I got lucky that I found it. It's not like it's a terribly difficult game to find. It's just one that in my area never shows up. But my friend Kevin, he had it for sale at a convention, and I was able to pick it up from him. He posted on Facebook that he had it, and I said, I want that. Hold it for me. And I'm so happy that I was able to add Outrun 2 to my Xbox collection. This is incredible. It captures the original feel of Outrun perfectly. And yeah, this is a port of the arcade version of Outrun 2 that released in 2003, but it's still an absolutely brilliant game that feels like the original, that feels close enough to the original that I just adore it. It's incredible. It's a massively fun game, and it's something that you can just toss in and play for a few minutes and be good to go, because it's that signature arcade experience that Sega was so good at creating. All right, 2 for 1 here. 2 D&D games that play very similarly, but I really, really love. So first up, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, fantastic hack-and-slash action RPG that led to what we have today with Baldur's Gate 3, which you totally need to play if you haven't done so already. Be on the lookout for that to appear on the Game of the Year countdown towards the end of the year, because, oh my god, it's good. I love the Baldur's Gate universe. I love Dungeons & Dragons, and to be able to get an awesome game like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on a console that plays as well as it does, and looks as good as it does. Now, granted, a little rough around the edges based on modern gameplay, but it's still something that I truly love. And as much as I love Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, I also really love Dungeons & Dragons Heroes, which plays fairly similarly. It's another action hack-and-slash RPG, and it's just really fun. I think we were kind of spoiled for fun Dungeons & Dragons games at the time, and we didn't get any for a while that really landed on a console. But these two here, really fun. Yes, it's juvenile. Yes, it's ridiculous. Yes, it's a very silly game. It's sophomoric, but I love the Outlaw Golf series. And I have a reason for that. Not only are they fun golf games, they're very irreverent, and they take great liberties with what is actually done in golf. But the guys from Hypnotics I actually worked with at EA on the Tiger Woods games. They ended up becoming part of the Tiburon studio, and I have such great memories of working with those guys, and I think that our Tiger Woods games became better because of Outlaw Golf. Now, I don't own Outlaw Golf 1, I own Outlaw Golf 2, and this is one that I go back to pretty frequently. It's a game I have a lot of fun with. Like I said, it's sophomoric, it's ridiculous, it's at times incredibly offensive, but it's a game I love. My f***ing game outside of Outrun 2 on the Xbox is Rally Sport Challenge. Now, you can't go wrong with Rally Sport 1 or 2. They're both superlative rally racing games, but for me, Rally Sport Challenge, the original, was the one that brought me to the dance. I remember renting this at EA when I worked there from our IRC, where we were able to check out games and bring them home to play them. And I ended up playing this in my house. God, I think we were living in Winter Park, Florida at the time, and it was something that my friend Corey and I sat down and played, and it was incredible. It has such a great physics engine, and it has such a great sense of chaos because it's rally racing, so you lose control, and you don't have the car at all times, and you're fighting to keep yourself in the driver's seat sometimes, and it's just... you feel that stress as you play. You feel the intensity of a rally race. I've played a lot of Rally Dragon games. They're my favorite type of racing game, and this one and its sequel are the ones that best feel like a real rally experience to me.
There you have it, my friends. The OG Xbox, an underrated, underappreciated classic console. I think too many people overlook. It did have its problems, I ain't gonna lie to you, but I do love the system. I think there's a lot going on there that is just great. There's a lot of stuff that came out on the console that I just adore. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite original Xbox games are. Let me know if there's anything that I overlooked that you think I should have brought up. Hey, I've been Jay. Appreciate y'all spending a little bit of time with me. Until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.